Imagine being 19 years old. You've barely finished high school. You've never been outside your town. And now you're halfway across the world in a country you hadn't even heard of 6 months ago. That country, Afghanistan. The mission? Protect democracy. Stop the terrorists. Win hearts and minds. The truth? You're standing in a desert where the air smells like gunpowder and gasoline, the mountains whisper death, and every civilian might be a walking bomb. This is what it was like to be a U.S. soldier during the Afghanistan war. Not the movie version, not the flag-waving, slow-motion hero shot version. The real version, where your boots melt on the scorching earth, where you sleep with a loaded weapon under your pillow, and where every shadow could be your last. It starts with the propaganda. They told you, join the army, serve your country, make your family proud. They showed you ads with honor, adventure, and brotherhood. But they didn't show you the charred bodies, the burned children, the friends you'd lose in silence. They didn't tell you your mission would change every 6 months, from liberating Afghanistan, to rebuilding, to counterinsurgency, to just surviving. You don't speak the language. You don't understand the culture. You don't even know who the enemy is. One day you're handing out candy to kids. The next day, one of those kids walks up with a vest under his shirt, and boom, your buddy is gone. Just like that, the war was everywhere and nowhere. No front lines, no uniforms, no rules. Just dirt roads littered with IEDs. Just villages where the enemy melts away into the crowd. Just endless patrols where you pray not to step on the wrong patch of earth. And even when you do everything right, you still lose. You raid a house where insurgents are hiding, but it turns out you shot a family by mistake. You dropped a bomb to save your squad, but it hit a wedding instead. One mistake, and the news back home calls you a war criminal. Social media blasts your face. You're not a hero anymore. You're a monster in uniform. But here's the cruel twist. The guys you're fighting, half of them were trained with American money, weapons supplied during the Cold War, militants radicalized after watching their homes turn to rubble, terrorists born from the very chaos you were sent to fix. You are fighting ghosts of old wars and becoming the villain of the new one. And then the boredom. Not every day is combat. Some days is just staring at a wall for 18 hours, watching for movement, hearing distant gunfire, waiting, always waiting. And in that silence, your mind eats itself. You start thinking about home, your mom's birthday, your best friend's wedding, that girl you loved in high school who's now engaged to someone else, because you're not there. You're in this sandbox with no end in sight. When your shift ends, you don't sleep. You scroll through photos of your family and until you fall asleep to the sound of drones buzzing overhead. Your dreams, explosions, screams. The same checkpoint ambush replayed over and over. But hey, at least you've got your brothers. The only people who understand are the guys next to you. You share jokes. You share rations. You share trauma. You laugh when you should cry. You mock death just to stay sane. Because tomorrow, one of you might not wake up. Then the day comes. Your tour ends. You go home. But home doesn't feel like home anymore. You step into an airport and suddenly it hits you. No one cares. They're shopping, sipping Starbucks, talking about celebrity gossip, and you're standing there wearing a uniform soaked in ghosts. Your parents are proud, but they don't get it. Your friends are awkward. They don't ask what you saw. They just say, "Glad you're back, bro." You try to sleep, but the dreams won't stop. You flinch when a car backfires. You scan every room for exits. You panic in crowds. You're not home. You're still in the WAR. Only now, no one can see it. And what did you fight for? After 20 years, after $2 trillion spent, after thousands of lives lost, the Taliban is back in power. Everything you built, gone in a matter of weeks. All that blood, all that pain. For what? You're told to move on, but you can't. You see your fallen brothers in every mirror. You hear your sergeant's final scream in every silence. You question whether you were the hero or the invader. They told you war was glory. But the truth? War is a machine that eats children and spits out broken men. It doesn't end when you leave. It stays in your spine, in your soul, in the way you flinch when someone raises their voice. This is why it sucks to be a U.S. soldier in the Afghanistan war. Not because you were weak, not because you didn't fight hard enough, but because you were a pawn in a game you never got to understand. A pawn used by politicians, by weapons contractors, by empires playing chess with real lives. So next time you see a veteran, don't just thank them for their service. Ask them what it cost, because the war might be over on paper, but for them, it never ends.